Hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I'm going to talk about when a person, if a person, can be both bipolar and a narcissist. Okay, or narcissistic. Let's say they're diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Now, what type? I'm not sure. But they have narcissistic tendencies, narcissistic behaviors. They exhibit narcissistic behaviors all the time, not just during the bipolar episode, but all the time. As some people say, 24/7, 365, every year of their life. Okay. Now, personally, I have seen people do this, seen people like this. So in that sense, I have experienced it, seeing it. I don't have bipolar disorder. I do not. Now, just because I've seen it and I've experienced what I'm about to describe, that does not make me know more than the professional counselors. Okay? I want to really stress that. Just because you experience it, just because I've experienced it, that does not make me know more than the professional counselors. Okay. Now, what was on my mind today that brought this all up, was that of noticing certain phases when people who have narcissistic or histrionic, even for me, I've always seen people who have narcissistic or histrionic behaviors that do these kinds of things. Okay, it's a blend, yeah. But what was on my mind was that they, during some phase, like maybe once a year or so, they would try to threaten a person. It wasn't always me, like take away that person's sense of security, maybe in the relationship or just all around, and or their safety. Okay, and it seemed like it would happen in a cyclical kind of fashion. And at some point, like the people who were actually diagnosed by professional with bipolar disorder, that's when it would happen. Now, some would call this some say bipolar, not bipolar, but borderline discard. Okay, like when they try to say, upset somebody enough and say, will you just leave, or, they try to kick them out or whatever. Some would say that's the borderline, and some would say it's narcissistic, okay, behaviors, borderline or narcissistic. But some, it just is how they feel. They want, like a divorce or to end a relationship or something like that. I'm sorry, I'm getting interruptions, so anyway, forgive me if it seems more scattered than usual. But yeah, so my question, and like I said, I don't know better than the experts. I don't believe in experts, but the counselors in this. My experience with these is that it's not two separate. It is two separate things, but their bipolar episode, at least once a year, is it's horrible to deal with, because their regular everyday narcissistic or histrionic behaviors, cluster B behaviors, abusive behaviors, are worsened then. And the cycle itself, the episode itself, the borderline bipolar, boy, use those two in the same video, man. The bipolar episode, okay, is not, I don't think it's exactly the same as you hear or you read what a bipolar 1 episode would be like. Okay. Now, here's an example. I would have heard is that, a person with bipolar 1, they have at least once a year and the episode, and it's, they have the time of mania, and then the time they're depressed, that follows it. This is what I've heard. Now, what I have experienced, and I used to somewhat jokingly, say that it was what I had seen in men. Not men who were bipolar. At least I didn't think so, but yeah, later on found out it was. But I used to say that hormonal cycles. See, you know, like they say, we women have hormonal mood swings and such. But the men, that it was like Pinky in the Brain. Okay, their intro, yeah, to the Pinky in the Brain. You know, they're going to take over the world, and that's how I had seen it. That they would think that they're going to, you know, they can take over the world, they can do everything, and they can be the best provider. You know, but when the ones that were more narcissistic, they didn't care about that. But they could do everything, and then here's the difference. Once they realized they couldn't, that became a very angry stage for them. Okay, that's now, and then the next one would be the depression. But this is the difference. Like I said, once I realized or found out that these were people who are bipolar, that it was, you know, men who were bipolar. Yeah, but the bipolar episode, when the people that I've known who were very narcissistic all the time, was different like this. I don't know if that's how bipolar, people with bipolar disorder and bipolar 1 experience too, that middle part, the anger part. It comes right in between the manic phase and the depressive phase. So anything that I have read or heard about bipolar 1, I have not heard that. I've not heard that they experience this extreme anger, this extreme fits of rage. You know, some people would call it narcissistic rage. You know, right in the middle. And that's why I'm saying I think that it could be different. I don't know. Like I said all this time, that I could be wrong on all this. You know, don't know more than the professionals in this field. But I do wonder. And it is what I've seen. Now, I have read stuff, you know, in the past and everything, that, yeah, that they, you know, can be both, but it's very rare. Okay, and it was just like a little hint that they can be both, but they didn't describe it. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know why is there just not enough studied about the combination, because from what I understand, the bipolar episode may happen once or twice a year, you know, for a type of bipolar 1, and a person is narcissistic is always narcissistic, not just one episode a year or 2 episodes. It's always their personality. So why haven't these been studied more? Because why wouldn't a bipolar person also have be narcissistic? Why would it not happen? It's my question. I hope to, you know, learn more about this, and I've said this in a video. I know I made a video because I was feeling deja vu today, but I'm pretty sure I have at least once said that I want to learn more, and I always have, but it's something I haven't really studied enough. And it goes back many years. I remember reading many years ago about who are bipolar people who are bipolar attracted to. Who do they, you know, like some say that narcissistic people go after this type or that type. I don't want to turn it around and blame the victim, but yeah. And I try to read up on that. I remember printing it out, and it was like when it was so difficult to print anything out online. I'm talking way back, maybe in the 1990s, and or 1980s even. But since then, I haven't seen anything. And I was looking at that, trying to find something on that. Couldn't find anything on that either. So, not any, you know, not recent, not since way back then. And I don't remember what it said because, you know, that was many years ago. So, I need to wrap this one up. But, like I said, it was on my mind for these reasons, like the security and all that. And also, I should add a little more about the narcissistic or the cluster B kind of behaviors. You know, that of trying to take away from a person's safety, sense of safety and security, and or both, you know, whatever. And that they want the person, they're really angry, that really angry face, they want the person to know it, that they're in control, that they dominate. Now, here's the thing. Some people think that, you know, this is just somebody who's just narcissistic. But what if it's narcissistic and that, you see? I keep getting interruptions, text. But anyway, and also that this can cause the person who's in a relationship or a person who's working with this type, anything, I would think, like I said, I could be wrong, but might cause them to, that whole lack of safety and security, how stressful that could be on, the victim in this, the spouse, whatever it is, how stressful that could be, and how it would make that person feel, the victim feel, like when somebody tries to take your safety away, you don't feel safe, and then your security, and all else some of the, not all else, because one size doesn't fit all, they don't all do the same thing, but that narcissistic rage, and what they will say during that, their fits of rage, how that affects the person. And then that part cycles around. It happens once a year. They can get over it. They think they can get over it. And yeah, that's a whole nother video. But then they say, well, all the rest of the time, all the rest of the year, or, they're not like this, you see. So that's also what some people call, have different things when they're referring to just narcissism, you see. Yeah, I got to, study this more, like I said. I'm going to wrap this up before I get another interruption. If you want to subscribe to this channel and you haven't already, click the circle icon that pops up. If you want to watch another video on this channel, click one of the rectangles that pop up. Like, subscribe, comment, and share on your own social media if you would. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.